So here's a wild thought. What if the very technology we've built to make us smarter is actually going to be the thing that destroys human intelligence? I know, it sounds pretty out there, but according to one academic paper, it's a possibility we really need to start taking seriously. Let's get into it. Yeah, that's a pretty heavy quote, right? And it comes straight from researcher Mario Arturo Ruiz Estrada. Now look, this is just one perspective in a really hot debate. But his argument is, well, it's pretty chilling. He thinks we're on a path where AI doesn't just help us out, it could end up completely replacing the human process of discovery and thought. And he's not talking about some sci-fi future. He says this is based on trends that are happening right now, today. Okay, so how could something like that even happen? Well, the author argues it doesn't start with some big dramatic event. Nope. It starts with a simple, almost invisible shift in our daily habits. It all begins with our growing reliance on AI, a dependency that's quietly changing how we interact with information and, really, with the world itself. And according to the paper, the foundation for this whole problem is actually being laid in our schools. Think about it. The massive use of AI tools like chatbots means students and even researchers are turning to AI for the answers instead of, wrestling with the problems themselves. And the knock-on effect? A steady decline in the creation of original, truly innovative knowledge. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the paper makes a point to define what's actually at stake here. Knowledge isn't just a bunch of facts and figures you can look up. It's the intellectual bedrock of our entire society. It's our collective power to tackle complex problems, to dream up new solutions, and to inspire the next generation. It is literally the engine of human progress. So, if knowledge is this engine of progress, how exactly could it just stall out? Well, the author lays out a 5-step process for how this could happen. He calls them the pillars of knowledge autodestruction, which sounds intense, I know, but it's a mechanism he argues is already kicking into gear. So let's break these down. All right, it all starts with pillar 1. AI tools are everywhere, right? Global access. That easy access leads directly to pillar 2. We start depending on it, especially in education. From there, we get pillar 3. Our research methods get a lot simpler because we're letting AI do all the heavy lifting. And that, of course, fosters pillar 4, a rise in what the author calls mental laziness. I mean, why do the hard cognitive work when there's an easy button right there? And all of this leads to the 5th and final pillar, a big shift to academic comfort, where the goal isn't the thrill of discovery anymore, but just pumping out research with the absolute least amount of effort. Okay, so if that 5-step process just keeps rolling along, what does the future actually look like? This is where the paper stops just observing and starts making some pretty dramatic and very specific predictions. So the author paints this picture of 2 massive forces on a collision course. On one side, you have us. As our dependency on AI grows, our own original human knowledge output is predicted to just steadily decline. But on the other side, you have AI-generated knowledge, which is set to explode, expanding at a geometric pace and rushing in to fill that void that we're leaving behind. And he puts a timeline on it, which is, wow. It all starts now with the warning in 2025. But then he predicts that by 2040, that's not far off, we'll see a full collapse of human-generated knowledge. And get this, just 5 years after that, by 2045, AI could achieve a complete monopoly over how knowledge is created and shared. Now, inside that pretty startling forecast, the author flags 1 year in particular as the most critical moment of all, basically a potential point of no return. Let's really zero in on what makes that one moment in time so incredibly important. The year is 2040. According to this paper, that's the D-Day. That's the year the collapse becomes complete, the moment when human knowledge creation just stops, and AI takes over the whole show, influencing everything from our tiny daily decisions to our biggest, long-term plans as a species. And the thing that really hits home is this isn't some far-flung, distant future. We're talking less than 2 decades from now. And all of this really brings us to the final, essential question that this paper leaves you with. It's a warning, for sure, about a possible future. But it's also a question about what we're doing right now, today. With every search, every chatbot query, every little task we hand over to an AI, are we just making our lives a bit easier? Or are we slowly, quietly outsourcing the one thing that makes us human, the act of thinking itself?